In this video, I will show you how easy it is to quickly get up and running with Microsoft Excel 2007 and create many of the common tasks you will be performing. My company, Acme Corporation, has asked me to generate a chart of the top salespersons in the company. They also want the chart to show what the revenue is as a percentage of the total revenue generated. I've created the sales data, which I'll be working on, and I'll paste it in now. The first thing that I want to do is I want to rename the worksheet name, Sheet 1, to Sales Data, so we know what this worksheet is. Next, we're going to start formatting the data. We're going to click on the total revenue, which is on B1, and we're going to highlight B1 and C1, because we need to merge total revenue to occupy and make it pretty over the two columns. We're going to go up to the ribbon and we're going to go up to where it says the Home tab, make sure that that's selected. Next, we're going to go under the Alignment section and we're going to click on the Merge and Center icon. Next, we're going to go ahead and click on Goal and Actual, and we want to center these. So go back up to the Alignment and we're going to click on the Center icon. Now, what we want to do is we want to highlight this heading and give it a nice bold formatting. Go up, click on bold, and there we go. Now, as you can see, our salespersons, they don't show up that nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up between A and B, and you can see the cursor changes to somewhat of a cross arrow. We're going to double click the mouse button, and you can see it extends it to the width, maximum width of whichever the name occupies. Okay? Now, we need to format the goal and revenue actual data to represent that as a currency. I'm going to come back up here and we're going to click on the dollar sign. Okay? And then you can see that we have that here. Next, I need to create an aggregate. So let's go ahead and create some aggregate data. I'm going to call this, let's call this grand total. And now what we want to do is we want to highlight the revenue data. We're going to click on up under editing on the ribbon. We're going to click the sum icon, and as you can see, we have automatically generated the summation, the aggregate of the goal revenue and what the actual represented. And if you look at it, you'll see what it actually created. If you want to create this for the future, equal sum, and you can see it's summing from column B3 all the way down to B7. Okay, let's go ahead and make this pretty. I'm going to bold this. Oh, what do we have now? We need to extend this. So what do we do again? We go between B and C, double click that. We're going to go to the same thing between C and D, and double click there. Next, I want to create another one here, and we're going to call it percent of total. Let's go ahead and create this as bold. And now what we want to do is the revenue is, we're going to go ahead and create a formula. We're going to say the revenue, divide that by our grand total revenue. We need to make this as a percentage, so we come back up here and we click on the percent icon. Now, I want to copy this. I don't want to redo this for each one, so I need to go ahead and edit the cell. We press F2, takes us into our editing feature, and we need to lock this cell, which is C8. The way we lock that is we're going to go between C and 8, and we're going to enter a dollar sign. Press enter. Next, we're going to go ahead and press Control C, press the Shift key, or you can do this with the mouse and just highlight the cells, and then press enter. And if we were to total this, and how do we do that again? Equals sum of, you'll see that we have 100%. So let me just delete that. Let's go ahead and highlight that, and what we're going to do is give that a nice bold, and there we go. So now what we've done is we've formatted our data, we've created aggregate data obviously, and now what we want to do is we need to create a chart. Okay, let's go ahead and highlight our data. We're going to start from name, and we're going to highlight this all the way down to our last salesperson, all the way up to percent of total. Next, we're going to go up to the ribbon. We're going to click on the Insert tab. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here where you see the chart section, and we're going to click on the column, and we're going to insert a 2D column. Okay, now as you can see, we've created a chart, and the only thing that's not showing here is a chart title, a description of the legend, and something else that should be obvious. What we're missing here is that you can't see is the revenue percent total. And the reason being is that if you look at the scale, you can see that the revenue is $35,000 versus 100%. So what we need to do is we need to select that scale and separate that into a separate axis. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Format. We're going to come over here, click on where it says Chart Area. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on Series Percent of Total. That's our data series. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want to format that selection. So let's go ahead and click on Format Selection. What we're going to do is we're going to change the plot series on, and we're going to change that from primary axis to secondary axis. Click, let me move this up so you can see this in the video. Once we select the secondary axis, we're going to then go ahead and click on Close. Okay, and now what you can do is you can see that our legend has changed to green to let us know that we have our percent of total. But as you can see, it obscures our data behind. So what we want to do is we want to change this from a bar graph to a line scatter. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the to our design, and we're going to change the chart type. We're going to click on XY scatter. The first one is selected that we want to select, which is scatter with only markers, and we're going to click OK. Now let's go ahead and change our green marker to something that will stand out. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that green arrow or marker, and then we're going to go to Format, and we're going to come over here under Shape Styles, and we're going to click on a color that we would like. For me, I like yellow so it could stand out. And one of the nice things about Office 2007 is that you can see when you can hover over the colors or some of the other options, and you'll see change without actually physically making that change. So I'm going to select yellow, and you can see our marker has changed from green to yellow. Now what we're going to do is click on the chart axis, and what we want to do is we want to go ahead and insert a chart title. So how do we do that? We're going to go up to the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead into Layout, and then we're going to go ahead and click on the chart title. We're going to put it right above the chart. We're going to click in the chart title, the text, highlight it, and let's give it a nice title. So let's call it Sales Revenue. Okay? You can call it anything you'd like. Alright, next, what we would like to do is I want to create a title heading so I know what I'm looking at here, so I know what these bars represent. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and click up here. Again, we're going to click on Insert, and we're going to insert a text box. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go ahead and enter Revenue. Okay? Then I can move this around and put it exactly where I would like. Now I want to make this bold so it could stand up. So I'm going to highlight the text, then I'm going to come up here into the font section and click on Bold. What I also want to do is I also want to center that. So I'll click on the Center under the Alignment tab. I can click out here, and you can see everything is all set. Now, what happens if I want to sort this by percent of total? Because right now you can see it's just sorted by, let me move this down a little bit. You could see it's sorted by the name that we had originally here. So what we're going to do is, before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and move this chart into its own. I'm going to click on the chart, and I'm going to move this into its own worksheet. So we're going to right click on the chart, and then we're going to click on where it says Move Chart. And what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and insert into a new sheet, and we're going to call this Revenue oops, if I could type, chart. Click OK. And now we have our chart in its own separate worksheet. Let's go to the sales data, and what I'd like to show you is how we can sort this by percent of total. With our data selected, what we can do is now we can go up to the data tab on the ribbon, and then once we click that, we can then click on the sort icon under sort and filter. The column that we're going to want to sort on is percent of total. We want to change that from order, we're going to change that to largest to smallest. Click OK. And now let's go back to our revenue chart. And you can see that Sally Jackson is the first one to appear. A quick side note, to create the secondary axis as we did, the chart must be a two-dimensional chart. You cannot create a secondary axis where we separate the data series in a three-dimensional chart. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and print preview this so we can see what it would look like. The way you can do this is you go up to the Office button, then you click that, and then you go down to Print, and you can do Print Preview. Another way you can do this is by adding the Print Preview icon to the Quick Access toolbar. The way we do that is we click this down arrow here, right on the top, and we select the options that we would like to appear, the toolbars that we would like to appear on the Quick Access toolbar. Okay? And there you can see our Print Preview icon has been added. Let's go ahead and click that, and you can see a print preview of what our chart would look like. We can now go ahead and click Print, and our chart is ready for print. Let's go ahead and click Close Print Preview. And one last step that I'd like to show before we end this video is how we can format this data to print nicely in case we need to provide a printout of the data that's behind our chart. The way we're going to do that is we're going to come up here to the ribbon, we're going to click on Page Layout, then we're going to come down to Print Titles, we're going to come down, go over here and select Header and Footer. We're going to customize our header, and we're going to enter in the center. We're going to say Sales Revenue by Sales Person. And we're going to click OK. We could do formatting and so forth and so on. We can also add a footer, but in this case we're not going to want to. Once we're done, we're going to click OK. Okay. And then what we can do is we can then come up here, click on the Print Preview, magnify this, and see what it would look like. And that is it. There's a quick way to look at how you can go ahead and get started quickly with Microsoft Excel 2007. I hope you enjoyed this video.